Hello, everyone. I'm Nick Peters, the gaming theologian, and I affirm the virgin birth. How many roads must a man walk down before you can call him a man? Okay, so we're back to Kid Icarus of Myths and Monsters, and yeah, I'm trying to speak loudly because I've had some feedback saying that my volume isn't coming through. I've got a friend who's kind of a tech guy who's going to be coming over Friday, and we're going to be looking at this and seeing what's going on exactly. So bear with me if that's you. I try to give you the best program that I can, but I'm not a tech person. So what can I say? And today we should finish this game, and if we finish before the hour, well, that's going to be it. I plan to return then on Friday with a new long game to go through, and it's one I'm really looking forward to. Never played it on the Switch, but I have played it on the PlayStation. So, today I'm at work, the seminary post office, and I come back in after going out to get myself a tea from a seminary cafe, and I see my boss talking to one of our female students about relationships, apparently about marriage, and being a godly wife, and how men are so different. And one thing that is said is that women have the power to really sort of emasculate men with their words and actions and things like that. And I would agree with this. And part of it was said was that where men also need to get past the male ego some. And I thought about that. I'm not at all going to encourage ego, for instance. But I wanted to look at that closer and think, what is going on here that men do regularly like to really demonstrate their masculinity, and they take challenges to their masculinity very seriously. And one of the thoughts I had in mind about that is that in our culture, we no longer have rites of passage. How do you know if someone is a man? And I'm not talking about genitalia or anything like that. And no, this isn't even about the trans issue. I'm talking about someone who fully knows they were born male, they have no delusions, they're the opposite sex. They don't doubt what their body is showing them. But they wonder if they are a man. Not genetically, but rather on a societal level, let's say. Have they achieved manhood? Apologize for my allergies, they're always bad. And I think one of the issues is that usually the only criteria we have for determining if someone is capable, and and functioning. Thank goodness falling isn't a big issue in this game. Is their age. And that's it. If you are of such and such an age, well, congratulations. You are a man or a woman. It leaves me even thinking about something that some atheist said in a chat today, or in a group on Facebook, saying that when God got Mary pregnant, was that pedophilia? And I had to point out, back in those times, women got married pretty much the moment they hit puberty. So did men. In some ways, I think there's a lot of wisdom to this. Because we tell our youngest people, oh, you have to wait once you come of age. And so for a large number of years, they can be raging with sexual desire, and there's really not anything they can do about it. But that's just one issue here. The other issue is that just a number of years doesn't make sense. Suppose a guy goes out of town. Boy, this is weird. He's at a club, and he meets a girl, and decides to take her back to his place, and they sleep together. And then he finds out later on that she's 17 years and 364 days old at the time. And then he's guilty of statutory rape. But if he had waited one more day, okay, that's cool. You do you, man. And, like, I'm not condoning a guy during that period. I hold strongly sex should be saved for marriage. But is there anything very magical about that one day that would suddenly change things? Or, if you turn 18 on election day, you're said to have a say in how our society functions at the voting process. But if you turn 18 the day after election day, well, no, you don't really have a say. Okay. Where since I've also gone to the room where I can get a possible treasure and face the god of poverty, there's not much else I need to do here, so I'm just going to go ahead and head back up and finish the level here. If you're one day away from 21, you certainly have no business drinking alcohol. But the moment you turn 21, yeah, okay, we trust you now. Is there really anything magical about that one more day? It is really such an artificial way of looking at maturity. Because we've all known people who are teenagers and yet are incredibly mature for their age. And then we've met adults who thought, yeah, these people have no business functioning in society. I have a suspicion that part of the issue is we need rites of passage. It used to be that a boy or a woman would have to go out and do something, and by doing such, they would demonstrate their maturity in society. Oh, good, the last power up of life. And show that they were ready to be contributing members to society. And I think men typically we are competitive by nature. We often like to one up one another, as it were. But I also think just naturally we like to prove ourselves. And one of the big ways men especially like to do that is with women. There is some sense to the idea that I'm not saying it's right, but it's understandable that men in the past treated women like conquest. That if you could show your dominance, you were a man. If you had what it took to please a woman, dang it, went against my nature there. You were a man. And I think this could be one reason so many of our young men and women are engaging in sex outside of marriage. Because they are wanting to demonstrate that they are adults. And for men, especially, we would often like to say it's not our emotions behind things. Yeah, it's very often our emotions. And we need to face that. Because sex is something that really does make a man feel like a man. And even if it's something passive, like pornography, that requires no risk on the part of a man, he still feels like a man. It is a very deep drive. Now, I'm not at all justifying pornography in saying this. Pornography is wicked. It gives the lie of manhood without the reality of manhood. It makes a man feel like a man without having to do anything to be a man. But the desire for masculinity is still right there. The man is still saying, do I have what it takes to be a man? And if the thing is, if he can at least feel like a man, well, that for the time being can at least give him some assurance. This could also be why men enter gangs. They want to be accepted by men and show that they've got what it takes. And women, yeah, women can get this way too at all times. And sadly, they can do it in a way that works alongside the desires of men. If they can seduce a man, which by the way in our culture not too difficult to do, well, then they are women. And the feeling of thinking you are loved by a man means you are a woman. And yes, that also comes through sex. Which, I hate to break it to you ladies, but a man can sleep with you without caring a thing about you. When men make terms such as speaking about another notch, believe them. Men shouldn't think this way, but many do. Okay, there's no need to go back when I reach the top now. Women are not to be notches on top of a headboard. They are to be treasured. There's a proverb that says that he who loves many women has loved none. He who loves one has loved them all. Now, at this point, since we're around the we are at the halfway point of this world, and we're going to finish World 4 because it's just one lever today. Then I want to remind you that everything we do here, this is viewer supported. I do this all for you. Okay? And I ask that if you are being benefited by this, please give back. Okay? And I'm not going to ask for a lot either, because I know it's tight for all of us right now. But I would hope you would seriously consider $5 a month. If you can do more, then please do. But if you can do $5 a month, that'd be great. I have a Patreon set up. The links are in the comments. Yeah, I don't need to get a hot spring now. Links are in the comments to my Patreon. $5 a month, the minimum would be greatly appreciated. But hey, if you want to do 10 or 20 or more, that's fine. If you want to make a one-time donation to me, that's also fine. I have no problem with that. If you can't do that, then some simple things also. Just like and subscribe to the channel. Share it with other people. Or even just simply leave a compliment behind. And say, hey, I really enjoy your channel. I appreciate what you're doing. I like watching you play games and talk about Christian topics at the same time. That means a whole lot. Something that you learn when you are in the ministry field is that compliments are very hard to come by at times. To which I can also tell you, if you have a good pastor, thank him for what he does sometimes. Your pastor probably does not get compliments like that, but he probably does get a lot of criticism. I also have a Substack. I hope to do some more writing, but right now, this channel seems to be my main focus. I have a suspicion here. So you can find my Substack and contribute to that. And I have a Discord. And I would love to see you all come to my Discord and chat about Christianity, apologetics, video games. Being on the spectrum, I have a section set up for autism discussion. And being sadly divorced, I have a section set up for men in divorce. So you can come to that, and if you're a man struggling with divorce, I'd love to help you through that. I had men who were there when I was going through mine in the worst of it, and that was an immense help, and I try and give that back. Oh well. Oh, please do support people. It means so, so much to me. So, getting back, having said, this is why I think men get involved in gangs a lot of times. Because they're trying to hang out with men they respect and want to emulate honestly. And so they are willing to do criminal acts even to get that validation of being seen as men. Which is why I say, if you're a single mother, God bless you if you're wanting to raise your children right. But I highly encourage you to find someone who can be a male role model for your children as well. Uncle, brother, teacher, coach, pastor, someone. It doesn't mean you have to be married to them. You might not want to remarry. But men really benefit by having an older male role model around who can help them through growing up and embracing manhood. Because if they don't have this, a lot of men are prone to seek masculinity through rather invalid means, sex and violence, particularly. And I'm naturally not saying any of those are inherently wrong. Sex is good, and I think men, at times, if they are going to be protectors of the women in their lives, do need at times to be able to be violent if someone threatens their families. Now, moving on past that point, for married women, I offer this advice to you as well. Realize that this is the world your man lives in. Rightly or wrongly, he is always wanting to demonstrate that he is the man. And if you chose him, he is honored, or should be honored, that he is your man. And the number one things, honestly, men want the most, believe it or not, respect and peace. And if you notice, intentionally left out what many of you women might have thought I would have said. But to some degree, that could also be included under respect. He wants to know that you truly admire him, that you truly appreciate him. That's why a man does not handle it well when his wife undermines him, for instance. If a wife publicly shames a man somehow, he will remember it. So, women going on TikTok making videos that are mocking men, yeah, men are watching, and they're going to say, okay, I know someone to mock off a list of dating partners. If your man helps you by doing something like, say, loading the dishwasher, and you go over and see how he did, and the first thing you say is criticism of how he did it, yeah, he's going to remember that one too. It's not to say you can't criticize a man. Many times you should. But it is to say you need to make sure it's over something worthwhile. As long as the dishes get done, that should really be the main priority. And as for peace, look, a man cares about how his wife's day has been. He really does. But he's had his own day already. And he really just does not want to come in, and the first thing he has to do is deal with someone else's day. Give him some time. Even just giving him, say, half an hour can be immensely helpful to a man. And then he'll be more akin to listen to you. If he needs some time with his hobbies, such as, oh, I don't know, gaming, let him have that time. And a good man, he will give that time back to you. He will honor you. Because a good man loves to please the woman in his life. For a good man, if he knows he has brought happiness to the woman he loves, that is a crown for him. He will be super grateful about having done that. In case you all don't know, no, I don't know the way through here. Well, I think I'm going in circles. I'm going to go back a little bit. And to you followers out there, raise your sons well. Remember, you are raising your sons to be men. And mothers, you're raising your sons that same way too. but you can't bestow that on them the same way a man can. Yep, okay, I guess we do have to go this way. And watch how you treat your wife around your sons. Because the way you treat her, like it or not, your sons are getting the message of this is how you treat a woman. Speak respectfully of her. If you have a problem with your wife, the last person you should be speaking to about it is one of your children. Do not be harsh with your wives around your children. You will argue with your children, with your wives, and sometimes it might start in front of your children. But make sure you handle it appropriately. And make sure your children know you two have made up. Which, if you make up the way a lot of couples make up, no, you don't do that part in front of your children, but you do let them know that you're made up. And you assure them that you and their mother still love each other very much. That will also teach your children that disagreements can happen with people you love. And it doesn't mean there's a lack of love here. I mean, honestly, this could be one of the reasons why we live in a society where it's thought if you disagree with someone, then you are not being loving to that someone, because we do not know how to disagree lovingly for some people. I also encourage men, if you have daughters, I don't remember if I got this piece of advice from someone else, but it's one that I do share regularly. When Valentine's Day comes around, yes, you should definitely do something for your wife. 100%. Ah, dang it. But I also encourage you to do something for your daughters on Valentine's Day. And it could be something small. I don't care what it is. But it should be something. Some sweet gesture for them. And why do I say this? Because someday, some man is going to come into her life. And he is going to want to be with her. And she is at least going to have one standard thus far for that man. She is going to be able to say, well, you better at least treat me as good as my dad does. Because how you treat her in that, you are showing her how she should be treated by a man. And she won't settle for less. Okay, that's where the boss room is, so we're not going there yet. If you treat her as less, then she's going to settle for any guy that comes along. Now, there's a chance still that could be a good guy who will still treat her right. But do you want to risk it? Do you want to take the possibility that she will, just by chance, get a guy who will treat her well, despite how you've treated her? Or do you want her to start off at the start knowing this is how I'm supposed to be treated? Especially if the man is less than noble and really wants to seduce your daughter. Because, yeah, guys are out there like that. Yeah, this guy, his pattern is very recognizable. It's really not that hard. If you stay in this corner area, odds are you should be fine. This is why I've said the first boss of this game is actually the hardest one. And as we'll see, I think even harder than the final boss. Okay, I got hit that time, but that's okay. And there you go. So now we've got the 3 sacred treasures, and we're going to go to Palentia to see what we can do about this upcoming attack on her land. You made it through the training. Yeah, all that was training. You may now use the 3 sacred treasures. Wings, arrow, and armor. Which suddenly you can't do anything whatsoever right here, even though the villain is right there. My name is Orcos, I'm the king of the evil land. Puny little wimp. You must defeat me to free the goddess. Not much of a goddess if she needs to be freed, but oh well. And here we are at the final lever. So we want to use our hammers wisely here, so I'm not going to use one just to get a shortcut here. And like the last game, this is all one lever, so we're just going to go through it. Now, I think it was possible that you might not have got to be equipped with all of the treasures. If you didn't do good at the training, you might just get the wings at the start, and you had to do more training to get the others, but fortunately, I did good enough. definitely want to avoid touching those things as much as possible. So, getting back to what I was saying here, a lot of our young people, I think, are seeking to be men and women in the wrong ways. And the main thing we are missing a lot of times is character. The number one way a man can be a man is to walk like like Jesus walked. To have a character of Christ. If he's married, he is to love his spouse devotedly. If he's a parent, he raises his children with integrity. Firmly, but gently too. All of this works towards his being a man. And at the same time, I think we need rites of passage for our young people again. I'm not sure what they could be, but I think we need something. Something official that can be recognized. And even if it's just within our Christian communities, and even if a secular culture doesn't accept it, we're still have something more than just, oh, well, you've gone around the sun this number of times, so congratulations, that means you're a man now. That's really artificial. And there's going to be differences between what people can do. Someone who's really athletic could have something very different from someone who's highly intelligent, for instance. But we need something. And I think also our Sunday schoolers and youth groups, we need to have, yes, it's good to have boys and girls interacting together to an extent, but we also need time for the boys and the male leaders, the men, to be alone, and likewise with the girls. Because we don't know what home life a lot of kids might have, but we can say when they are under the roof of a church, we are going to be treating boys like they're young men, and girls like they're young women. And we are going to be teaching them that masculinity and femininity are good things, and they should be celebrated. We are going to teach them that they need to honor their bodies, but that they're more than their bodies too. You know, as I talk about this, I'm remembering years ago when I was still an undergrad in a Bible college, and my church at the time had what was known as the silver ring thing, which is a kind of version of True Love Waits. Now, the message overall, yes, I agree with it. You should wait for marriage. But how it was presented was terrible. I remember the associate pastor got up and in his presentation, he was saying, now, if you have sex before marriage, it will be for selfish reasons. Okay. Not a problem so far. He said, but you need to think about other things as well. Okay, yeah, you do. So far, so good. Like, for instance, What if you get an STD? What if you get pregnant? Think of the shame and guilt you will feel. Think about what you will have to tell a future spouse on a wedding night or even before you get married. And I'm sitting here listening to this and thinking, Pastor, maybe it's just me, but those sound like selfish reasons also. Yeah, I don't think I need any more hammers. Those sound like selfish reasons to me. What would have helped? I don't know, maybe how about a world view on how sexuality fits in? What the purpose of sex is? Reasons you should save sex for marriage, such as, oh, I don't know, avoiding sin? And why God tells us to save sex for marriage, and it's not just because He wants to keep us from having fun. And I'm not saying any reason of self-interest is entirely wrong. I don't think it is. I think you could stress that if you do wait till marriage, odds are you are more likely to have a better marriage, and in turn, yes, a better sex life as well. That you and your spouse can learn together about the gift that you're having. And not only that, as the message kept going on, it was an evening message, and I was waiting to leave because I was getting bored. And pastors, let's be blunt out there. If you are discussing the topic of sex, and you have a college-age guy in the audience, and he's getting bored, you're doing something wrong. You should present this as one of the most exciting topics out there, as something wonderful that couples should wait for, while still treating it as sacred. And if you don't think that can be done, the problem is not with the topic, it is with you. Okay, I think we're nearing the end here. Got a lot of health stored up. See if there's anything down here. I figure there'd be one final hot spring. Every little bit helps. And now we fight Orcos. And this guy is not too hard. He's got a pattern. You learn the pattern. It's very easy. You just shoot upward at him as he's coming down. And fly back up. Avoiding his fireball each time. Anything, it's more tedious than anything else, but hey, at least it's harder than Medusa was in the first one. That So far, as you can see, we haven't taken a single hit. I even got him with my shield that time. I don't think he can take much more of this. Maybe another round or two and that'll be it. Okay, got hit that time, got a little bit cocky. That's okay. And there you go. Except usually you defeat the villain, he doesn't just fly off. And now you fight the Big Daddy. Looks like he's put on a little weight there. That's okay. Though honestly, he's still easy. Took a hit there, that's okay. Remember, I've got 6 refills, and I honestly don't think I'm going to need a single one of them. Yeah, he's big, but that's all he's got going for him. If you can get in 2 to 3 hits each time, you're going to be doing okay. But overall, we're just men and women need a rite of passage. They need affirmation. Because if they don't get it in good ways, they're going to get it in bad ways. And even when they're married and grown, we all still want affirmation in some sense. Please remember, keep that in mind. And yes, please remember to consider becoming a supporter. I really thrive on having donors around. Because like I said, I do this largely for you. I want to introduce you to great games and good Christian teaching. Okay, another couple of rounds and Orcos should go down. And as you can see, I still have a lot of health. First time you play this game, this big guy comes out, that sure looks intimidating. But really, there's nothing to it. It's that simple. You've done a marvelous job, Pit. You brought peace back to Angel Land. So let's watch the ending together. And you see the various enemies you fought along the way, corresponding to the worlds you first encountered them in. It's the underworld, overworld enemies, Skyward enemies. And then final world enemies. Strange they don't have anything. I don't remember if they had anything for dungeon enemies. Maybe they don't. Looks like they don't. Strange. And then this game ends on a good mythological reference. With Icarus falling, getting too close to the sun. Well, that's going to be it for today. Hopefully, God willing, return Friday night. We're going to be starting a new long game of, well, I guess you have to come back and see. I'm Nick Peters, the gaming theologian. I affirm the virgin birth. And remember, whatever you do, do it all to the glory of God.